Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day it is, wherever you are right now. Thank you for tuning in to the Conversations with Dr. Don show. The show is produced and broadcast from Portland, Oregon, USA. For your first-time viewers, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people, like most of you out there, about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals and about whatever it is we've decided to talk about. And that's my canned opening, so we better put that aside because tonight is going to be a unique sort of a Conversations with Dr. Don show. My guest this evening is Kent Nightingale.
Hi, Don.
Welcome, welcome. Thanks
Thank
for coming
you.
on again.
Yeah.
You were on some time ago, but it's a different context now because you're going to make me sing for you because you're my music teacher for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed our relationship.
Me too.
And you had complimentary things to say about my singing, and I didn't think I did that well, but I'm going to accept your judgment because you taught me.
Please do.
How are you feeling right now?
Pretty good. Proud of our accomplishment of performing a very nice concert, and excited that we get to share that with the world by making a program.
Thank you. Yeah, all right. Now, as you know, the show usually goes in two segments. The first segment is the bio segment where I talk to my guests about who they are, so you get an idea where they're coming from when you see what's going on in the second half, something about them personally, so it isn't so segmented. And the second half, in this case, will be the concert itself. And so now let's get started about who you are, and then we'll keep going, all right?
Okay.
You're familiar with the questions I asked you before?
From the last time I was on your program?
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
You want to summarize what you remember, or shall I ask you a few direct questions?
However you'd like to proceed. Yeah.
Who is, if I were to ask your best friend, who is Kent Nightingale? What would your best friend say? Kent is what or who? Be your best friend.
Oh, wow.
Kent is...
I think he would speak highly to my my character and my value as a friend, and that I care a lot about people, and
you
then
say that
maybe as a side note, something about me being a musician.
as a side note, right? That always stumps my guess. That question, you know. And when and where were you born?
I was born in San Francisco in September of 1983.
Why were you born? That's a last stumping question, I promise.
I don't remember how I answered that question last time, but I'll be a little more creative this time and say I was born to maybe share experiences with other human beings, and hopefully enjoy myself along the way.
Okay. Is there anything significant about your national or cultural heritage, or you're just plain old American white bread?
I guess I recognize the influence that my parents have had on my life, and I think that their life histories are an important part of who I am as well. For example, my dad being from the East Coast, from the Long Island Sound, and my mother being from Los Angeles. But in terms of going back further in generations beyond that, I know a little bit, but it's not an area that of great interest to me right now.
Yeah, because they're going to yell at me in the control room because they'll be using up all of our time talking about your history, so we got to keep going.
Okay.
And how about your formal education? You have some education in music?
I sure do.
Tell me about that.
I studied at two different universities. I studied at Oregon State University as well as Portland State University, and received a pretty broad training in music, studying both percussion as well as guitar, and then my continuing education since in recent years, which I do outside of the university setting, is working on my skills as a piano player and composer.
And you're lousy. No.
Oh.
I got to
Sock
be
it to
silly
me.
now, man. You know me by now. All right. So we got to keep going here. And how do you feed yourself today? You musicians usually don't have regular jobs anymore because there's so many of you guys who are pretty good at least. How do you earn your living nowadays?
I earn my living in part through working in food service.
And do you have a partner, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, or one of those?
I currently have no marital partner or girlfriend or anything like that.
Are you available for a partner or something like that?
Oh, sure am.
Well, look at that camera and tell them, here I am.
Thanks, Don.
You bet.
Love
Yeah. And so, persons from the past or alive today that you look up to or admire, any names come to mind for you in the musical field or any other way at all?
Yeah, there's somebody that I find very fascinating, Duke Ellington. I enjoy listening to his music, seeing videos of his performances, and at some point I'd like to read a biography on him to absorb more of what was happening in his time and day and the context that he was working in.
Those were the days, my friend. We thought that you see, you thought to get away from teaching me again. All right. So we chose. You asked me to choose some of my favorite songs, and I chose songs because I'm an old man, and that were written in the 50s and even earlier than that. But they're all over the place. I think we're going to end up with maybe 8 or so, or 7, or even 10 songs in the concert, as you viewers will see when you and I are through talking here. But you want to ask me a few questions about why am I interested in music? Well, you had some questions for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it'd be a nice opportunity for your viewers to learn more about you and your interest as a musician, and so I was curious in your earlier life where your musical inspirations came from, whether it was from hearing live musicians performing, and I know that you spent your early life in New Orleans, and curious if what types of experiences you may have absorbed then, and where else you might have come into contact with this music that inspires you so much today.
It seems like in my growing up in New Orleans, that's one of the very few areas where I found more enjoyment than my regular life, because of how New Orleans was back when I was growing up. Was quite different than it is nowadays. And I disappeared oftentimes in the music and the sounds and the voices and the singers, and that provided me with some relief from the ongoing pressure of living in that environment. So I won't, if I start telling some of the names of some of those people who I admired a lot as singers, we'd go on for another hour and a half, of course. So I remember as a teenager, there was an autocrat club in New Orleans where the Creoles gathered, and there were a few students and small-time bands who were performing then. And some of those singers in those little bands were performing what some of the big Duke Ellingtons and those kinds of people were doing. And I heard, like, Donald Bertrand was one of those. And he was so good, and I thought, if I could ever sing like him. And then I discovered as time went on that I was really more fascinated with some singers than the others, and those have made an impression on me. And when I was going through my memory about the different songs I liked, I chose the ones that we're using now that we sang on the concert. And you became more fascinated with that era and that music. And I'm glad to hear you say that you're going to keep going some more about Duke Ellington. this is embarrassing because you're now the host and I'm answering questions and I'm stuttering.
Uh-huh.
But I still love it and enjoy it. And I listen to some of these songs I've listened to many times in the past, and I find I'm having even new thoughts at my age and new feelings. And I find I can discern what instrument is playing and isolate myself from the other instruments in the music presentation, and then play it again and hear only a particular instrument and the notes it's hitting.
Mm-hmm.
See what you're doing to me?
Uh-huh.
So that's a little of my thinking about my music, and it's a great relief no matter what's going on. And I have a few programs from PBS, like concerts and like that, and I go back now and then and play one of those again on occasion. Even there's a 2 or 3 I've played number 6 or 7 times over the years, because that's my fascination, how I'm charmed by the magic of music.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Uh-huh. Do I have time to ask you another question?
Of course.
Okay. I thought it might be interesting to ask you about a particular song, and you could recollect where, if you remember a time in your life where that song came to you, or where you might have heard it, or why this song is particularly special to you. But it's a song that you've introduced me to that I enjoy a lot, called "I'll Be Seeing You."
Oh man, yeah. I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places
That this heart of mine embraces
all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way. No, we're giving up. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. There's so much memory associated with it, like the Bluebirds over the White Cliffs of Dover. There's World War II songs.
Mm.
Oh man, don't stop me again.
Mm-hmm.
You got another question for me?
Sure. What was it that encouraged you to cross the threshold from being more of an appreciator of music to deciding that you wanted to take on the goal of pursuing your skills in singing and sharing that with people?
That's been going on for many, many years, because many years ago when I was a technical writer, we'd go when the work was done in the aircraft industry. We'd go to a pub nearby, and there was a piano player there. And if I had enough martinis, I'd get up and sing. And if I had just enough, I could get away with singing 1 or 2 songs. Mm-hmm. And I was applauded, you know. Mm-hmm. But as I've gotten older, the relaxing me from the martinis doesn't work anymore, so I can't sing at a piano bar. But you're getting me over that. And it's hard to single out a particular song. Well, summertime is ageless, and the living is easy. I'll get started again. Don't ever get started. You got one more question for me?
Sure. Why these jazz and love songs as opposed to some other type of music that you hold dear?
I think I got stuck in my teenage years longing to fall in love, and falling in love too darn often to have it make any sense. Not recognizing that it's a transient thing as you're a teenager, right? But I still lingered. I'm still a teenager at heart in many ways. And sometimes when I'm singing one of these love songs, or these songs to do with love or falling in love, I regress back for a little while and have the feeling that was associated with that song when I first heard it, and it touched me. And I love them all.
Yeah, and you're teaching me to love these songs too, which is very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we had our piano here so I could sing again for you. That's the next time.
Well, fortunately for our viewers, we've we already performed at the concert and it went quite well. So.
Yeah, there's another guest coming up in the next show, and he's learning from what we're talking about now. Hello there, Dave. So it's time for us to take a break here, and then we will have a few comments after the concert is played, okay? All right, I'm going to say a few words before I start singing, because when this event was coming due, I sent an email out to a few friends, and I'll read a few words of what I sent in the email. A couple of years ago, I decided to make my bucket list. So far, I've listed only one item, and expecting to add a few more rather shortly. You all know what a bucket list is. The item that I recently accomplished was learning enough music and singing to sing to a public audience. I was here a while ago, and I'm back again a few months later, and you can tell me again whether I've gotten better. At my late octogenarian age, I thought that just setting that goal for myself was rather ambitious. So I decided to tell a few relatives and friends, people who care about me, about my accomplishments. I reached that goal a couple of months ago by singing in the Tavern, and you're in that Tavern right now, so that's enough for me. My regular job now is a television producer and talk show host at Cable Access Television for 17 years. And if you're careful, I'm going to check you out and have you be a guest on the talk show. And my friend David Delk out there, it's okay if I mention his name. He's on Cable Access Television. He does a popular dialogue. He's a friend of mine, and I'm so glad he's here. I'm so happy. So, shall we get started with my stuff?
We shall.
And I'm always nervous. By the time the show is over, I'll relax, all right? You ready? I'll Thank you. You're very kind. Very kind. Yeah. Don't talk to me. On a summer night that you can never quite recall. When you see love on the train that is passing through, those eyes, how familiar they seem. She gave your very first kiss to you. That was Laura, but she's only a dream. Thank you. I'm so glad my wife is here because otherwise I'd be doing without her. Dad, I love you. Hold the papers down so you can see my face. All right. And hold the mic up too. Now what? Let's try one more, all right? It's going to get better. This time we almost made the pieces fit. Didn't we, girl? This time we almost made some sense of it. Didn't we, girl? This time I had the answer right here in my hand. Then I touched it, and it had turned this time we almost made that long, hard climb. Didn't we almost make it this time? Way better, I told you, these songs are one better. Try to remember the kind of September when life was slow and so mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and rain was yellow. Try to remember the kind of September when you were young and callow. Try to remember, and if you remember that. Try to remember when life was so tender that no one worked except the willow. Try to remember when life was so tender that dreams were kept beside your pillow. Try to remember when life was so tender that love was an ember about to blow. Try to remember, and if you remember that. Deep in December, it's nice to remember, although you know the snow will follow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember with all the heart. The heart is hollow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember the fire of September that made us mellow. Deep in December, our hearts should remember them. All right. If you can have it, I can. This is an old, from a long time ago, and it's been sung by everybody who ever sang songs before. It's a Gershwin thing. It's called Summertime. Summertime. And the cotton is early's morning, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you spread your wings, then you take to the sky. But till that morning, there is nothing can harm you. With mommy and daddy standing by. None of my people does. We got a couple more for you, all right? Boy, this session was done by Tony Bennett. And when I'm through, Tony Bennett's going to destroy the song, for sure. It's called Because of You. Remember this from a while back? Because of you, there's a song in my heart. Because of you, our romance had its start. Because of you, the sun will shine, the moon and stars will say you're mine forever and never to part. I only live for your love and your kiss. It's paradise to be near you like this. Because of you, my life is now worthwhile, and I can smile because of you. It's a paradise to be near you like this. Because of you, my life is now worthwhile, and I can smile because of this one. This is like, anybody know Anthony Newdy? Stop the Board, I Want to Get Off. This is one of his songs that I really love very much. Who can I turn to? Shall we go for this one? Who can I turn to? But maybe tomorrow I'll find what I'm after. I'll throw off my sorrow, beg, steal, or borrow my share of laughter. With you I could learn to. With you on a new day, but who can I turn to if you turn away? Thank you one more time. You keep scooting my cushion over. All right, this is one called Contrary Star, a song by Al Hibbler. You got any video to appreciate Al Hibbler? Count every star in the midnight sky. Count every rose, every firefly. For that's how many times I miss you. Heaven knows I miss you. the stormy sea. Count every star, and darling, when you do, you'll know the times I have cried for you. Every star in the midnight sky, count every rose, every firefly. Oh, that's how many times I miss you. Heaven knows I miss you. Count every leaf on the willow tree, count every wave on the stormy sea, count every star, and darling, when you do, you know the times I have cried for you. I told you to play. Well, I think we got two more. This is going to break the bank. That hurts go to shame. But if I'd ever leave you, how could it be in autumn? How I leave in autumn, I never would know. I've seen how you struggle when fall in spring. I'm bewitched by you so. Oh no, not in springtime, summer, winter, or fall. No, never could I leave you at all. And could I leave you running merrily through the snow, or on a wintry evening when you catch the fire's glows? If ever I would leave you, how could it be in springtime? Knowing how in spring I'm bewitched by you so. Oh no, not in springtime, summer, winter, or fall. No, never could I leave you at all. Are you going to read me that? One more, then it's over. But I'm really having a good time, I promise you. You were going to suffer. All right. Baham and Cursor. This time the dream's on me. Somewhere, someday, we'll be close together. Wait and see. Oh, by the way, this time the dream's on me. You take my hand, and you look at me adoringly. But as things stand, this time the dream
very much, everybody, for attending tonight's concert. I'd like to finish for you with a brief piano piece, and thanks again for being here. And we've been filming tonight's show, which is a great excitement, so thanks for being a part of that as well. And thank you to the Old Gilbert Road Tavern for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. Remember that, those notes. Thank you. Well, I am glad that you stuck around and you heard the concert, and I hope that you were pleased by what you saw. You think we still think we did okay?
Oh, I'm certain of it.
So it looks like it's close to time for us to stop visiting and get ready to say goodnight. And keep those pens and pencils handy, because you may want to jot down something that we'll show you in the closing credits. For example, Kent's email address, in case somebody falls in love with him because of this. And I invite you to give us feedback, both positive and negative, about any aspect of the show. And I mean it, because it's better to give us a better show in the future. And public service announcements, do we have time for one or two of those? To learn more about the American Civil Liberties Union, go to www.aclu.org, because the ACLU is saving our civil liberties, and they're in danger right now with the present administration. Oh, I'm not supposed to be political now. Another public service announcement, go to see my local broadcast schedule, go to my website, www.donbaham.com, and click on present day activities. And to watch my shows on the web, Google Don Baham YouTube. Don Baham YouTube, there's hundreds of shows through the years on there, and you'll find some interesting shows that I think you'll want to really glom onto. You get my shows broadcast by other stations around the country. Ask your local public access station to go to www.pegmedia.org and follow the instructions there. And here's my favorite. We have to learn how to end corporate personhood. Go to movetoamend.org. We got to tell the government that corporations are not persons and money is not speech. Yes, thanks again for watching. Remember KFC, my favorite. No, not Kentucky Fried Chicken, Dr. Don's KFC. Kind, friendly, and charitable. Be kind, be friendly, and be charitable to you too. You too. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.